Something occurred to me while I was editing. We had not one, but two in-game episodes that featured horror-themed levels, and yet I didn't make a single Transylvania joke. I'm not sure if I should be sad or happy about that, but there's no use pondering. Greetings all, it's Blue Knight. Welcome back to Slide 2 Band of Thieves. Previously, we finished episode 5 and got the Clockwork Eyes. Finally finished with the prog levels. I've been waiting to get those done for a long time. The reason why? We'll be jumping to one of my favorite levels in the game. Episode 6. He Who Tames the Iron Horse. With a title like that, you know things are going to be exciting. Let's get started.
Following the trail of spice shipments, we made our way up to Nunavut Bay, Canada, the secret hub of Jean Bisson's shipping empire. As a young man, he trekked across Canada to strike it rich during the gold rush of 1852. An avid prospector, he took some chances and ended up buried alive in an avalanche. Miraculously, the quick freeze kept him alive, and 120 years later, thanks to global warming, he thawed out. A product of his time, he dreams of taming the wild north, damming every river and chopping down all the trees, with progress delivered at the sharp end of an axe. Shipping spice for the Claw Gang proved a lucrative way to bankroll his one-man war against nature. And yet, I have to feel a little sorry for him. He's just a normal guy from the 1850s. Back in his day, he'd be a hero, but today, he's a villain. Either way, that man's got more than his fair share of the clockwork parts. What a low-tech guy like Jean Bisson is doing with robot parts is a mystery. I almost don't want to know. But as always, it's only a matter of time before I find out.
So in case you didn't guess by now, this level's taking place in Canada.
I've got a lead on the clockwork parts. Head through town and out into the wilderness.
Look at all the snow and all the lumberjack stuff, apparently. I guess I've been living in the wrong version of Canada because this is where the real Canadians live. There's lumberjacks, there's walking mooses, geese. I think the other guys are rams. I don't know for sure. I should know more about the species of my own country, but anyways. One thing I forgot to mention throughout my Slide 1 Let's Play and my Slide 2 Let's Play up to this point is that when Sucker Punch Productions went for a stereotype for a certain nationality, they go all the way with it. This is about as Canadian stereotypical as you can get. And you know what? I love every single bit of it. I mentioned this is one of my favorite levels in the game. Yeah, figures the Canadian will love the Canada level. But not just for the stereotypical humor that's in this level, but also from the music. I haven't mentioned anything about the music in this game up to this point because, quite honestly, there's not a lot of tracks that are memorable to me. But I'm always excited to come to the Canada level, at least this one. Mainly because of the song. I believe it's called Canadian Wilderness when I first looked it up. I'm gonna keep quiet for a second and let you listen to how calming and soothing this music is. hopefully that's enough, and let's get started with our first job. That was close.
That cabin may seem rustic, but don't be fooled. It's the control center for Jean Bison's trade empire. Sneak inside and raid his files. You're sure to find out where he keeps his clockwork parts.
Ransacking his files doesn't sound hard. Now, climbing up a sheer rock wall? That'll be a challenge.
You're in luck. Before Jean Bisson took over, this used to be a popular destination for rock climbers. Some of their old wall hooks are still around.
I'm guessing I just jump and hit the circle button to latch on.
That's right. And remember to lean back before you spring off the hook. You'll get more altitude.
Thanks for the tip. I'll give it a try.
So like everything else in this game, for Sly to do anything, you gotta jump and hit the circle button, and Sly just got a mind of his own all of a sudden. I tried pinging, and now Sly's doing all this stuff that I'm not in control of. Man, I got some serious problems with this controller. Okay, come on, Sly. Work with me here, please. Sly? Alright, are you gonna calm down? Are you gonna work with me? Because I really want to show how great this level is. I have no idea why my controller does that sometimes. It just freaks out when I try pinging or even doing the slightest bit of a random action. But moving on from that, let's just go in the cabin and see what it holds.
Jackpot, Sly! That's Jean Bisson!
Looks like he didn't notice me come in.
Just stay out of sight and take a picture of each of his trade routes. They should narrow our search for his share of the clockwork parts.
All right, I'm on it.
Hello, Arpeggio here.
Salutations, Mr. Arpeggio. Y'all got time to shoot the breeze?
Of course, for you, chap, always. Although must we communicate through that dreadful speakerphone?
Yeah, I can think better while my legs move. Pumps blood to your brain.
Yes, of course. One must keep blood in one's brain. But do tell, is there some pressing matter you'd like to discuss?
First off, are you still coming on schedule to get that Northern Lights battery?
Yes, we're well underway. My blimp should arrive at the end of the week.
Bullseye. For second, when you gonna give me a look-see at that clockwork brain of yours? I'd sure like to buy it off you.
Be song, you cavernous troglodyte. You've already got the lion's share of the parts. Would you take my meager portion of the robotic bird for your own and strip me of all my earthly pleasures?
Easy there, partner. You're all up in a lather. It's just that I found some real use for the clockwork parts I got. Why, I put 3 of them in the engines of my best trains. With those robotic doohickeys feeding the fire, them trains will run all night and all day. I call them my iron horses. Of course, I gotta keep the plans hidden. Stuffed them in my 3 trophy bass.
Sounds like you're making capital use of your share of the robotic loot. But for now, the clockwork brain stays with me on the blimp. Although, when I arrive to pick up the Northern Lights battery, I might be persuaded to give you a peek.
That'll do fine. By the way, you ready to giddy up into Perry for the final hoedown?
Yes, the blimp's hypnotist wavelengths conform to the specs drawn up by the Contessa, and Dmitri, before his unfashionable capture, did a bang-up job of distributing spice through his nightclub.
Sounds like all you're missing is some Northern Light electricity.
You're correct, sir. Yours is the final piece to the puzzle, the missing link. Once the battery is aboard, nothing will stand in the Claw Gang's way. Paris will be ours.
Yeah, okay. So, I guess I'll be seeing you at the end of the week.
Right, farewell, Bisson. Stiff upper lip. Ta-ta.
Now, I know that conversation carries on for a while, but it really gives you some insight of what's left of the Claw Gang. As you heard, Jean Bisson was talking to someone named Arpeggio. If you remember, we actually saw Arpeggio way early on in the game back in episode 2, during Rajan's ballroom party.
Sly, did you hear that? Bison's hidden the Iron Horse blueprints in his trophy bass. Head for the fish on top of the fireplace and steal those plans.
Let's do what Bentley says and get the Iron Horse blueprint.
Excellent! Now get out of that cabin before you're spotted.
Now, something worth noting of Jean's last name is you think it should be called Bison, but it actually is pronounced Bison as if he's French. Something I didn't know until I looked up some information about this episode and his character recently.
After analyzing Bison's decorating techniques, I think we'll find the other trophy bass above the mantle in the 2 remaining cabins.
So the other 2 cabins are to the right of Jean's personal cabin, and one to the left over there as well. I'm gonna go to the right first because it's the first one in sight, and it's always been the closer one to me. Now, something worth noting about Jean's cabin is that I think following this job after completing it, you can go back into that cabin and fight Jean, although he has no health bar and you can't hurt him in any way. Something I never did try because I always thought you'd be locked out of Jean's cabin once this job has been complete, but apparently that's not the case from what I've read up. So I think I might show that off and then start the next episode. Oh my gosh! Whew. If I did notice that 2 seconds earlier, I would have been done for. Be careful of the Iron Horse trains because if you're in the path of them, they will instantly kill you. So be aware of the trains as you're traversing through this world. I say world, but it's more like a little map of sorts. But enough of my rambling. Let's just go into the second cabin and try to get that second blueprint.
Yep, just like I thought. Get to the fish above the mantle and steal those blueprints.
Now, I'm not completely sure if you have to be stealthy to get these blueprints. I've always fought the guards in this room personally because, well, they're the weakest in the Canadian level. So, I would usually do that, but there is a way to sneak past all these guards without being detected and get the blueprint. I've only done it once though, and that was during practice, so hopefully I will not get caught here. I think we have to go up this barrel or jump on this table. Jump up here? No. Oh, we can jump on these logs, that's good. I guess that's the best bet to start climbing up to the rafters. So you can just jump on the hook. Jump on the other hook. Don't worry about that other geese or goose. Geese is plural, Andrew. That goose will not detect you.
2 down, 1 to go.
If you try swinging by. But be careful of these, I guess, maple syrup bottles. I would put it past Sucker Punch that these bottles were full of maple syrup. If you step on those, the guards will actually be alerted and scout out that spot where you stepped on the bottle. It's a little alarm that they put to detect intruders. Just like that. Although that happened inside the cabin, I would have likely been noticed. Now another tip I have is that you can use the Iron Horses to travel along the levels a lot quicker. I'm not doing it right now because this last one isn't very far, but it's something that's worth noting after you learn of the Iron Horses. Although getting on them is a little tough, even for Sly, because since they move so fast, You have to time your jumps very carefully if you want to land on them. Going through them with Sly is the easiest, but not by much, as he can hook onto the train's pipes, which makes it a ton easier to hitch a ride and travel to other
Last trophy
locations.
bass is above the fireplace. Be careful.
Attention all cabin guards. I've heard tell from the boys at Ponderosa Cabin there's someone been in my hidden blueprints. Everyone stay sharp. This ain't no summer camp. I don't pay you boys to lollygag while there's a thief in these parts.
Okay, that was pretty easy.
Exceptional work, Sly. That's the last of the blueprints.
Ooh, let's touch on that bottle. Fortunately, these are flashlight guards. They can't jump up to higher ledges like the smaller enemies. So I was safe in that regard.
Armed with all 3 blueprints, we should be able to isolate and track the Iron Horse trains through that satellite dish.
Top of the mountain, huh? Shouldn't take long.
Whoa, what's going on? Okay, I'm having a lot of problems today, apparently. I have no idea what was up with that glitch. That never happened to me before. Man, this game is really starting to worry me about its glitches. They seem to be happening more and more frequently now. Something I should have mentioned at the start of this episode. Back in a Tangled Web, after completing that, if you go back to the Wolf Priestess's crypt, there's actually another Easter egg to rocket robots on wheels. If you manage to stand on one of the wolf pillars and turn around sideways, yeah, sideways. It's gonna take a few tries, but a raccoon will show up above.
This appears to be the only way up. Keep an eye out for those rock climber wall hooks. They might be useful.
Around the priestess's coffin, and if you manage to execute it, you'll see Jojo the raccoon, who's the antagonist from Rocket Robots on Wheels. Another Easter egg that was pretty obscure until I found out about it recently after reading it up. The reason why I brought up that Easter egg is because Rocket Robots on Wheels was a game that was produced by Sucker Punch before they worked on the Sly Cooper series.
This is great! We've got total access to the train's GPS system. It's all on my computer. Head back to the safe house. I'll crunch some numbers and give you and Murray the rundown. Thanks to Sly's efforts, we now know the location of all 3 of the local clockwork parts. 2 lugs and a stomach. John Bisson has grafted each piece to the engine in one of his Iron Horse trains. This improvement allows the trains to run all night and all day. We won't have the luxury of sneaking in while they're stopped. While they're in motion, the only way aboard is through a hatch on the caboose roof, which unfortunately has been locked down. These need to go. First, collect the spice gas from the balloons above town, and then land on the back of the caboose to blow off the locks. Once the way is cleared, I'll suit up and jump into Iron Horse number 1 while it passes near town. With some luck, we'll have the first clockwork lug in a few hours.
Well, now we've got our objectives. Collect all the stuff first. There we go. Our first, I guess, first step to one of the clockwork parts, Spice in the Sky, but Bailey never mentioned this, a friend in need. It looks like it's near one of the cabins. Well, whatever this is, it's probably not gonna spell good news for us, but I'm gonna hold that off until next time. So, in the next part of Slide 2 Band of Thieves, we'll begin these two jobs starting with a friend in need. But until then, everyone, farewell for now.